A driver shot and killed along I-71, a desperate search for the shooter. And moments ago, we just learned new details about the suspect.
Two crime scenes 2 miles apart in less than 2 hours. But are they related?
The story of two Kentucky teens on the run doesn't stop with Dr. Phil.
They're going to be facing some serious charges.
Why police are upset with what's been said about this case.
And from one of the lowest performing schools,
I think there was a time when maybe we made excuses,
to soaring test scores, how Fairdale High turned things around.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm Elizabeth Woolsey.
And I'm Gilbert Coursey. A violent 12 hours in Louisville, 4 people dead in 3 separate shootings. The first happening last night about 10 o'clock at 39th and Garfield.
3 hours later, detectives were called to East Lawn Avenue, and this morning, a shooting along I-71.
WDRB was the only news agency there as police walked the suspect in the interstate shooting into LMPD headquarters.
That's where Danielle Lama begins our team coverage with what police are saying right now. Danielle?
Police have confirmed that the suspect was taken into custody on the ramp from I-64 to Blankenbaker Parkway. Here's video of when LMPD officers escorted him in handcuffs into police headquarters for questioning. It's the same man who was pulled over in this white van. J-Town police had the ramp blocked off for the LMPD investigation at around 1 this afternoon. We could see detectives walking around the van. Police were also taking pictures. They seem to be interested in a damaged rear view mirror. A witness tells WDRB he saw police take the man who had been driving into custody.
There was a guy sitting out on the hood of the car, in handcuffs, wearing bibs, and, looks like a real normal guy. They talked for a while, just, general conversation out on the hood, and then 10 minutes later, 10 minutes goes by, they, take him, put him in the cruiser, and then drive off.
LMPD has confirmed this scene is connected to the deadly shooting on I-71 South this morning. Officers were called to the interstate near the Gene Snyder at around 9 this morning for shots fired. When they got there, they found a man inside a black Lexus SUV who had been shot. He was pronounced dead at the scene. We could see homicide detectives looking into the victim's SUV, which appeared to have gone off the road and come to a stop in the median. We also saw them walking up and down the highway looking for shell casings. Police closed down the southbound lanes for hours to investigate. Remember, this happened during a busy time of the morning with a lot of cars on the road. We did ask if this is a case of road rage.
Still too early to put that tag on it at this point, but obviously somebody shot into a vehicle while it was moving. Until we can talk to those individuals and see exactly what the situation was, it's difficult for me to label. What I do know is we have an individual that unfortunately has lost his life.
Police have not released the victim's age or name. We are expecting an arrest in this case soon. Reporting live from LMPD headquarters, I'm Danielle Lama, WDRB News.
Thank you, Danielle. 3 men are dead after 2 other shootings in Louisville just hours apart.
WDRB's Courtney Godfrey explains what police are doing to find the gunmen in these cases.
Just before 10 p.m. at 39th Street and Garfield Avenue, police are called on reports of a shooting. Inside a white Dodge Charger, they find 2 men in their 20s shot to death.
My wife said, "I hear a gunshot," and she got up and looked out the door. By that time, the police was pulling up.
The car has Missouri plates. Neighbor Randolph Jones says it's one he's never seen before.
A lot of cars come through here, but that one I don't remember seeing it parked at nobody's house. Don't belong to nobody in this area.
Only about 2 hours later and a few miles away, homicide detectives were called to a home on East Lawn Avenue in the Russell neighborhood. Police say a man in his 40s or 50s was found shot to death.
We don't have anything to indicate that the two are linked, but we're not going to rule anything out. I'm sure we'll be looking at that avenue, but right now on the surface, we don't have anything to say that the two are connected.
With police saying they have no suspects in custody in either case, Jones says he'll play it safe. He's lived in his house for 40 years and says the neighborhood has taken a turn for the worse.
I keep my doors locked and sleep light, and if I hear something, I get up. If I see something don't look right, I call police, somebody,
Police are presumably busy this afternoon, as you've seen through our reports throughout the day. Police say they still have no suspects, and that's probably why we still haven't gotten much information about either case. If you do have any information, you're to call 574-LMPD. Reporting live from police headquarters, Courtney Godfrey, WDRB News.
Courtney, thank you. To Paoli, Indiana now, where a fight between co-workers at an auto body shop turned deadly. Indiana State Police say around 10:30 this morning, 2 employees at Classic Muscle Cars and Parts were arguing in the parking lot. This shop is along State Road 37. Police say one of the men shot his co-worker in the chest and in the neck and then killed himself. Coming up at 4:30, how the victim is helping police with this investigation.
An arrest warrant has been issued for the mother of a 3-year-old Clarksville girl, but it has nothing to do with the girl's death.
Floyd County officials are looking for Cynthia Wigley because she failed to appear in court yesterday in connection with a child abuse case from 2010. It comes as Clark County officials released the 911 call Wigley made Sunday night when she found her daughter unresponsive. WDRB has decided that call is too disturbing to air, but in it, Wigley says the girl was blue and bruised all over. The child was rushed to the hospital and later died. Wigley has not been charged in the case.
At this time, this investigation will be ongoing for a period of time until we feel that we have been able to assemble a case that's appropriate for filing and a case against an individual that we believe that we can prove a crime against beyond a reasonable doubt.
Clarksville police have not released the girl's name or how she died.
A Grayson County teenager accused in a multi-state crime spree tells Dr. Phil he regrets what happened. Dalton Hayes just appeared on the show. The 18-year-old claims he didn't know Cheyenne Phillips was 13, and he says she was the one who wanted to run away. They are accused of stealing vehicles and writing bad checks. Dr. Phil interviewed Hayes at the Grayson County Jail. His mother says she's surprised by the national attention.
Never in my wildest dream would I have thought Dr. Phil's people would be at my door.
Coming up at 4:30, why police are upset with how the case is being portrayed.
It was once one of the lowest performing high schools in the state. Only 3 out of every 10 children could read, write, and do math on grade level. But today, a look at what's changed at Fairdale High.
So use your hands and tell me which way the energy was traveling.
Lessons coming to life.
You need to put parallel.
Failure.
I think there was a time when maybe we made excuses.
Not an option.
Tell teachers and students and everybody all the time, there's just really 2 things that we really expect from you, is that you care and that you try.
It's the changing culture of Fairdale High School. 3 years ago, the Bulldogs ranked in the lowest 3% of the Commonwealth on state testing and carried the distinction of persistently low achieving. Today, the school soared to the 55th percentile.
It was a real wake-up call when we started looking at what do we need to do differently.
It goes over here.
We found all our deficiencies could be tied in some way to instruction.
Because sometimes a graph doesn't cross at a single number.
The latest audit from the Kentucky Department of Education finds all of those so-called deficiencies erased. The school has a clear purpose and direction now. It's improved participation with stakeholders like students, teachers, and parents. And administrators better monitor what's happening in the classroom. 45 observations a day, every day, offering teachers feedback.
You know what? It holds you accountable to your job.
The turnaround remains a work in progress. While students' math scores beat state averages, only a quarter of the class passed the last round of state testing in English and writing.
Receiving that label of priority status is a blow to a school. But in the long run, what we've seen is that those schools tighten up.
7 of the 13 priority schools in JCPS received audits in January. So far, Fairdale's performed the best. Reports are pending for Iroquois, Doss, and Seneca High Schools, as well as Knight Middle.
Teaching's pretty much a science now. We know what works.
It's a school finding the formula to help students achieve. State audits from Southern and Wagner High Schools have also been completed. Education reporter Tony Kahns details what's working and what still needs improvement. In her story, you'll find right now on our website, WDRB.com.
Parents, researchers say you were given bad advice.
The new findings about children and peanut allergies.
We've got a winter weather advisory in effect for part of the area. I'll be completely forthcoming. I think it is a little aggressive, but I will go through snowfall totals on this system. Who could see some? Coming up next.
It's one of Mayor Greg Fisher's top priorities, a local option sales tax, the new and very powerful opposition to the effort.
Want more news? Anytime, anywhere, any device. WDRB News.
New trouble today for the effort to pass a local option sales tax in Frankfort.
An organization representing large industrial companies like GE and Ford is expressing concern about the cost of adding even a temporary 1-cent sales tax. The group, called Kentucky Utility Customers, says local option could add some $24 million a year to the utility bills of large manufacturers. Local option passed the House 2 weeks ago, but the new opposition could derail the bill in the Senate.
It impacts the debate greatly and probably makes people question whether we need to pass it this year or not.
GE says it wants lawmakers to consider its concerns and make changes to the bill. Governor Steve Beshear believes the local option bill can be tweaked to exclude large industries, but there doubts there's enough time left in the session.
A global technology company breaks ground in Scottsburg. Samtech Incorporated is at the city's Mid-America Science Park. The company makes cables and other connectors for electronic products. Scottsburg mayor says Samtech will bring 300 new jobs to the area. The company also has a facility in New Albany. It plans to open by November. Help wanted at Domino's Pizza. The company is looking to hire 100 new team members in 14 stores throughout our area. It's hiring managers and delivery drivers. For information on how you can apply, just come on over to our website, WDRB.com.
3 major clothing retailers are giving minimum wage workers a pay hike. TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods will raise wages to $9 an hour in June of this year. They'll follow that up with a second raise at some point next year. It will bump up employees with the company at least 6 months to $10 an hour. The 3 businesses are all owned by TJX companies. The raises match Walmart's plans to hike wages announced last week. After closing at record highs yesterday, stocks mostly flat today. Investors kept an eye on the second day of congressional testimony from the Federal Reserve Chair and weighed a mix of corporate earnings news. At the close, the Dow up more than 15 points at 18,224, but the Nasdaq is down just shy of a point at 49.67.
Southwest Airlines gets the go-ahead to fly planes that missed inspections. Federal officials say the planes have to be checked within the next 5 days. It's a required inspection of a backup rudder system. The airline grounded 128 planes yesterday, canceling 80 flights. It planned to cancel more today while some inspections are done. A Texas company takes a bite out of tech giant Apple. A court there has ordered Apple to pay more than $500 million for using another company's patented technology in iTunes. The company claims the technology was used in several apps and some games. Apple says it plans to appeal, saying the damage was less than $4.5 million. That's a look at today's business news.
And moving into the weather now, does it seem so warm out there today, or is it just me?
Indeed, but I mean, we're talking about 50-degree difference from today and last week.
Don't be fooled, though.
Here's the thing, it's still 13 degrees below normal.
Is it
we
really?
should be at 51 this time of the year, so today feels great, but it should feel a whole lot better. Looking at the month so far, you guys are right, it has been a very, very difficult month. Not calculating today's numbers because they're not in yet. We stand right now at 10.1 degrees below normal, an average temperature for the month of February at 28.1 degrees. And as we stand right now, we're the 8th coldest February in history. Here's where we stand. At 6 p.m. Central, we will have a winter weather advisory go into effect for one county, our far southern county of Adair County. Now, I will tell you, I don't think we should actually be under a winter weather advisory in our southern county. With that said, let me show you what's going on. In our immediate area, there's not a lot going on, and you can see the northern edge of this storm. If you were to draw a line, it is going to go towards southeast Kentucky. Almost all of the high-resolution data shows this, and even the medium-resolution data shows this. There is heavy snow to the south. This is where we're going to see real problems here. North of Birmingham, so between Huntsville and Birmingham, there's a lot of reports of heavy snow. Northern part of Mississippi, a lot of reports of heavy snow. And then behind it, there's another storm that missed. When these storms come together and they kind of combine forces, it's referred to as a phase. If it phased, I'll tell you right now, we would have seen a significant snow in our area. It did not, and it virtually missed by 12 hours. It was that close. 38 right now, still cloudy. We've got a dew point of 21, and that low dew point is one of the things that defends us tonight, likely from seeing much in terms of snow showers. Now it's 35 from LaGrange, 39 PRP, 35 Munfordville, 35 Campbellsville, and the area showing temperatures generally around that 40-degree reading. So as we look through tonight, you can see advanced track here. This is a stop at 9. Remember, Adair County right here in the winter weather advisory. In the winter weather, miss. You know what? I think this one's a miss. Like I said, my thoughts on it, I don't think you should be under an advisory now. Tomorrow, what we see is another system sliding in, and that's the one that missed phasing with the storm to the south. And you can definitely see here, it generates snow squalls and snow showers as we go into the warm part of the day. Now, I use warm part of the day loosely because it's going to be a very cold day with cold air filtering in. So tonight, who could see snow accumulations? You can see I'm not banking on much. I think southeast Kentucky gets this. I don't see accumulations for Louisville. And I think we're talking about under winter weather advisory criteria for Adair County, which is in that advisory. 25 tonight, a 20% chance of flurries generally in the southern part of our area. During the afternoon tomorrow, we'll touch a high of 30. Now we've got a 50% chance of light snow and snow squalls tomorrow. Some could see a little bit of light accumulation on that. Friday, the high is only 21 degrees. And Saturday, Mike, I've got a record low temperature of 8. Now, it's not all cold. I'll talk about when we could go over 50 degrees, and I will show you the snowfall accumulation map for tomorrow in about 25 minutes.
All right, sounded good, Mark. Getting out this afternoon, traffic's been a little bit on the heavy side in a couple of areas. Now, we take a look at 65 through the construction, and we're moderate near the 10th Street ramp in Stansfer, but we had that heavier traffic starting to develop. You can see 65 right across the Kennedy Bridge. Each direction of 64 is a little slow through the junction, and we're starting to see that traffic slow moving westbound 64 as you come out of the tunnels. You head up around Story and Melwood, and that's pretty much what you see, that traffic very, very heavy getting into downtown. From the Oxmoor Auto Group Traffic Center, I'm Mike Marshall with Beat the Traffic.
Mike, thank you. Bill Cosby's show next month at the University of Kentucky has been postponed.
UK says the March 15th performance was postponed in a mutual agreement with Cosby and the show's promoter. The 77-year-old comedian has canceled more than a dozen shows following a slew of rape allegations. Cosby has denied wrongdoing and has not been charged with any crime. Refunds will be issued starting Monday. A news release did not give a new date or a reason for the postponement.
Stunning video here, a home blown apart in one neighborhood. What caused this massive explosion?
Death brought these two dogs together, how their new friendship makes them inseparable.
A dog finds faith after losing a companion.
WDRB's Ryan Cummins shows us the heartbreak and the joy as a beagle and his new best friend are now up for adoption together.
It's a story of loss, then love.
Oh, you even have to share? I got you your own.
Man's best friend finding his best friend. Barron, a one-year-old beagle, lost someone very close to him back in January. Sheena Maynard with Dumas Rescue found him on the side of the road in eastern Kentucky, just sitting next to a dead, frozen companion. Barron wasn't moving, wasn't barking, just grieving.
When I did get the leash around his neck and tried to pull him away, he instantly started crying. He tried to dig his way back to the mate. He covered back over it and cried.
Heartbroken and hurting. Eventually, Sheena picked Barron up and carried him to her car.
And he stretched his neck out the window and cried until we got out of sight.
These pictures taken moments after his rescue. The sadness in his face lasted for days, until Barron got a new friend, about 2 years old, who had also been abandoned herself. Sheena named her Faith.
I just took one look at her and I was like, she's my girl.
Barron and Faith have been at the Kentucky Humane Society now for 2 weeks, and as you can tell, they've become fast friends. And that bond means that the two will now be adopted out together.
They love each other, they're dependent on each other, and we think they'll be happiest together.
And happy whenever peanut butter and Kongs are involved. The bonded pair now healthy enough for a forever home.
Walking together, eating together, sleeping next to each other, they're just great, great friends. And we really feel that Faith has really helped to heal that hole in Barron's heart. And Faith is what has really given Barron hope and love.
And a new best friend. After all, their initials are BF.
Whether you believe in fate or not, I think fate brought us together.
Ryan Cummings, WDRB News.
And we are following a WDRB News alert. Police have just released the name of the suspect accused of killing a man on I-71 this morning.
And WDRB was there as 43-year-old Christopher McCullum was taken in for questioning. Police say this morning he shot and killed a man driving on I-71 near the Gene Snyder Freeway. Hours later, he was pulled over on the ramp from I-64 to Blankenbaker Parkway. WDRB has uncovered more about McCullum, including why he was arrested back in October. At 4:30, we'll explain what police found during that encounter. Again, we are continuing to follow this driver shot and killed along I-71.
New details coming up in minutes.
A shooting between co-workers here at this body shop in Paoli, Indiana. Why police are not looking for the gunman.
Never in my wildest dream would I have thought Dr. Phil's people would be at my door.
A Grayson County teen spotlighted by national media. What Dalton Hayes had to say after he's accused of going on a multi-state crime spree.
WDRB is the only news agency there as police walk Christopher McCullum into LMPD headquarters. This is the man accused of fatally shooting a man along I-71 this morning.
WDRB's Danielle Lama has been following this story all day. She breaks down what we're just now learning. Danielle?
We just got that name confirmed a couple of minutes ago. We're told that he is in custody, but he hasn't been charged yet. LMPD officers walked McCullum in handcuffs into police headquarters for questioning this afternoon. He was pulled over in this white van on the ramp from I-64 to Blankenbaker Parkway. J-Town police had the ramp blocked off for the LMPD investigation at around 1 this afternoon. Police were walking around the van, taking pictures, and seemed to be interested in a broken rearview mirror. When a witness tells WDRB he saw police take McCullum, who had been driving, into custody.
There was a guy sitting out on the hood of the car, in handcuffs, wearing bibs, and, looks like a real normal guy. They talked for a while, just, general conversation out on the hood, and then 10 minutes later, 10 minutes goes by, they take him, put him in the cruiser, and then drive off.
McCullum is suspected in the deadly shooting on I-71 South this morning. Officers were called to the interstate near the Gene Snyder at around 9 this morning for shots fired. When they got there, they found a man inside a black Lexus SUV had been shot. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Police closed down the southbound lanes for hours to investigate. Remember, this happened during a busy time of the morning with a lot of cars on the road. We did ask if this is a case of road rage at the time. Police said it was too early to say. Police have not released the victim's name or age. Again, they have identified the suspect as Christopher McCullum. He has not been charged. We are expecting to hear of an arrest soon. Reporting live from LMPD headquarters, I'm Danielle Lama, WDRB News.
Danielle, thanks. In the last few minutes, we have learned a lot more about the suspect in this interstate shooting.
WDRB's Rachel Collier's kind of been digging in on this story all day, and we're learning about a bizarre arrest involving McCullum just a few months ago.
Right. The 43-year-old was arrested back in October, and police say they found a crossbow, 4 loaded handguns, 2 rifles, 1 loaded, pot, and drug-related items. In October, 43-year-old Christopher McCullum was pulled over for a shattered windshield and an expired license plate on the van he was driving. Police say they noticed a loose bullet rolling around during the traffic stop. That's when they say they found 2 rifles and 2 handguns. They were wrapped in a pair of overalls in the floorboard of the van. 2 other handguns were found behind the passenger seat. Police say McCullum did not have a license to carry the weapons, and police say they also found marijuana. Court documents also tell us he and his wife have been going through a divorce. They have 2 children together. The records tell us McCullum has a history of mental illness and substance abuse, and he listed his address as a Ford van. He's a master electrician, but the latest court records say he was unemployed, but worked odd jobs on a suspended license. As part of a deal related to the traffic stop, he pleaded guilty to the drug charges, but the weapons charges were dropped. He's due back in court next month for another case where he's accused of trespassing, going into a person's yard and tapping into their breaker box and using their power. WDRB.com reporter Jason Riley writes about why a judge gave McCullum most of the weapons back and what McCullum's attorney has to say about his personality. You can read that right now on WDRB.com.
Rachel, thank you. A workplace fight goes from words to wrestling to deadly in Paoli, Indiana.
WDRB's Valerie Chin explains how the fight started and why police are not looking for the gunman.
You can see the crime tape up here at Classic Muscle Cars and Parts in Paoli, Indiana. State police say the fight between 2 co-workers started in this parking lot. Then one of the employees ran into this building and locked himself in.
In the meantime, the suspect is banging on the glass to the extent that the victim thinks he's going to break the window out. So he goes to the door, unlocks it, and lets him in. The suspect and another witness come inside. At that point, at point-blank range, the suspect shoots the victim in the stomach and in the neck.
Sergeant Philip Hensley with Indiana State Police says the victim was able to talk to investigators before being airlifted here to University Hospital. Hensley says the suspect was a temporary worker.
Believed it come down to just a difference in opinion, and believed the suspect in the case was, he'd only been working here for about 2 weeks. He wasn't going to be working here beyond the weekend, and conflict just kind of stemmed from that.
Police say the weapon used was a semi-automatic handgun.
He tries to shoot at the witness as well, but missed. Goes behind the property, fires off a couple more rounds, goes to the end of the property to a tree line, and at that point took his own life.
Hensley says the shooter, identified as 48-year-old Michael Kilpatrick from North Carolina, died on the way to the hospital. The victim is 30-year-old Keith Wagner of Bedford, Indiana. For now, the crime scene tape remains as police still investigate this case. The owner of this body shop is visibly shaken and did not want to comment. In Paoli, Indiana, Valerie Chin, WDRB News.
2 more fatal shootings in Louisville within 2 hours of each other to tell you about. Police say they responded to reports of shootings last night on 39th Street and Garfield Avenue. Inside a white Dodge Charger, they found 2 young men shot to death. And a few hours later, police were working another homicide at a home on East Lawn Avenue. They say a man in his 40s or 50s was shot and killed. Police won't say whether the cases are related.
We don't have anything to indicate that the 2 are linked, but we're not going to rule anything out. I'm sure we'll be looking at that avenue, but right now on the surface, we don't have anything to say that the 2 are connected.
Police are still looking for suspects in both incidents.
A Grayson County teenager accused in a crime spree that stretched across 5 states is back in the national spotlight.
Only on WDRB, Tamara Evans tells us he was interviewed behind bars by Dr. Phil. Tamara?
That episode aired today. He claimed his girlfriend was the one who wanted to run away and he went along to protect her, and that he never knew she was only 13.
You're not saying what you did was smart.
Oh, but what I did was not smart by no means. I could have went about it many different ways.
In front of a national audience, Dr. Phil questions Grayson County 18-year-old Dalton Hayes about a crime spree that Hayes and his 13-year-old girlfriend, Cheyenne Phillips, were accused of. They were on the run for 2 weeks, accused of stealing vehicles and writing bad checks across 5 states. Hayes would only talk about this stolen red truck that was caught on camera.
The red truck, they got me on camera.
I know.
And if I get them released, I would go back to jail just to go to them and tell them that I was sorry.
The interview was shot at the Grayson County Jail, and in the small community of Litchfield, it's been all the talk. On the front page of the News Gazette, in bold letters, inmate to appear on TV. Hayes' mother, Tammy Martin, says the family was surprised by the national attention.
Never in my wildest dream would I have thought Dr. Phil's people would be at my door.
National media dubbed the couple as a modern-day Bonnie and Clyde.
Bonnie and Clyde was kind of like 2 people that I've always liked. I watched the movie Bonnie and Clyde several times. I think the news broadcasters took it way out of proportion because there was no Bonnie and Clyde. I wasn't nothing like that.
Certainly that was something that we wanted to quash right off the beginning because, you know, for anyone that knows Bonnie and Clyde, they killed 9 people.
Grayson County Sheriff Norman Chafin says he can't recall a case in Grayson County getting this kind of attention before.
It's kind of sad because this case got more national media exposure than the murder of Jason Ellis.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody, you know, to worry about what your child is doing and, you know, if they're in harm's way or whatever. It's very, very hard to deal with.
Hayes had this to say about his girlfriend.
Tell her that I love her. Tell her that her eyes still shine brighter than the stars do. And just tell her that everything's gonna be all right.
And Hayes and Phillips are both facing charges. Tamara Evans, WDRB News.
Thank you, Tamara. A funding bill for the Department of Homeland Security clears a hurdle in the Senate.
But it comes despite few discussions between Kentucky U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell and the Speaker of the House.
Should you talk to him ahead of this important deadline? You guys are on the same team.
Our staffs have been talking back and forth, but at the end of the day, the Senate has to act. And I've been pretty clear over the last couple of weeks. We're waiting for the Senate to act.
Boehner says the House is in wait-and-see mode. He did not give an opinion on McConnell's Senate plan. It would be a funding bill that pulls out the immigration debate. Democrats are trying to block any bills that do that. If lawmakers do not work out a deal, the department will continue to operate, but workers will not be paid.
Agriculture Commissioner James Comer releases his first TV ad in the race for Kentucky governor.
I'm a conservative. I'm a blue-collar guy. I represent the farmers, the school teachers, the factory workers.
The video touts Comer's efforts to cut government spending and improving efficiency at the Department of Agriculture. He says he'll bring common sense to the governor's office. Comer is one of 4 Republicans running for the office.
Racing fans, get ready. Tickets go on sale in 1 week for the Breeders' Cup. It's taking place at Keeneland this year. You can buy tickets for the October event starting next Wednesday at noon. The tickets are being sold 3 months earlier than usual because of the high demand. Single-day tickets range from just $35 all the way up to $475. There will be no walk-up sales. A link for ticket sales is on our website, WDRB.com. Returning a guilty verdict in just 3 hours, the jurors in the American Sniper trial explain how they reached their decision.
Plus, a massive home explosion caught on a police dash cam. What investigators say caused this.
Part of our area is under a winter weather advisory. I'll give you my thoughts on accumulation for that system. Tomorrow, light snow in the area. My thoughts on accumulation for that and when we will see a warm-up. Some could go above 50. Details on when coming up next.
Guilty of murdering the American Sniper.
Ryan Nobles reveals how jurors in Eddie Ray Routh's trial came to their decision in less than 3 hours.
Mr. Routh, if you'll please stand again.
It didn't take very long.
We spent time to go back over the facts that led us in that direction, and ultimately, unanimous decision.
A panel of 10 women and 2 men made swift work in their deliberations, convicting Eddie Ray Routh in the murders of Chris Kyle and Chad Littlefield. They did not believe that mental illness was to blame for his actions.
He would get intoxicated, get in trouble, and then the police would show up and he would say, I'm a veteran, I have PTSD, I'm insane. You know, and every time something bad happened, he pulled that card.
Routh's attorneys have vowed to appeal. The high-profile case was at the center of this year's blockbuster film, American Sniper, which jurors were allowed to watch. Juror Barrett Hutchinson saw the movie, but says it played no role in his decision.
I basically put the fact that Chris was a Marine, out of my mind and just looked at him as a person, looked at Chad as a person.
Chris Kyle's widow, Taya, left the courtroom before the verdict was read and is yet to speak publicly about Routh's conviction. Chad Littlefield's family hopes their son will be remembered for the way he lived, not the tragic way he died.
Now is the time that we want to honor and talk about our precious son, Chad.
I'm Ryan Nobles reporting.
Police make an arrest after yesterday's fiery train crash in California. Officers say the 54-year-old driver told them he accidentally turned onto the railroad tracks instead of the highway and says he got stuck. Police say he took off running and called 911 when he saw the train coming. The train engineer saw the truck on the tracks hit the brakes, but there wasn't enough time to stop.
My car was the second car, and I actually flew past the front car. It's not like an airplane where everybody goes down, everybody's gone. We're all alive. We're glad to be here.
More than 24 people were hurt. The driver has been charged with hit and run.
15 people are hurt after this massive house explosion, and you can see it's all caught on camera. A New Jersey police cruiser captured that video. You can see debris flying into the air as the house levels out. Authorities say it happened after people complained about the smell of gas. Several other nearby homes were damaged. 75 people were evacuated from their homes as a precaution.
A sign there to go with your senses. Just some astonishing video. Let's get over to Mark and the warm-up. It almost feels balmy at 30-some-odd degrees outside, Mark.
I think we're actually going to go close to or above normal in the next 7 days. That means some 50s could be moving back in.
Gosh.
In the short term, we're still going to have to talk about cold, and I think records are going to fall. Leona Smith sent me this picture this morning. I do like to start with pictures. And if you look, this is basically on the side of the sun. She kind of caught what looks like a rainbow in the clouds. What is this? This is actually a partial halo as the sun's just coming above the horizon. Actually, Leona sent a lot of pictures in this morning. I just thought that one was very, very cool. Today, high temperature 38 degrees, low 23. 51's the normal high, low 32. This is still a below normal day. With that said, it's just not as cold, as it has been. Now, we've got a winter weather advisory. I don't know if the Weather Service will keep Adair County in the advisory. I don't know if they'll make an evening update to it. But in my opinion, I don't think we're going to meet advisory criteria in the southern part of our area. As we look right now at Storm View HD, nothing in our immediate area. And I want you to look at the northern edge of the precip. It's struggling. It really is. With all that said, north of Atlanta, through northern Alabama, through northern Mississippi, it is going to be a wreck right now. I mean, we're talking about several inches of snow. Some could catch a half a foot. A big problem for parts of the country that do not deal well with snow. This is our next storm, and you can see it's got a nice snow shield as we look into northern Illinois. That's the one I want to discuss. As we look out there right now, officially at the high of 38 degrees, we still have a low dew point. I think that's, in a sense, that dry atmosphere going to defend us much from that storm to the south. Looking around our area, we're all running in the mid-30s right now, but this next system does have a pretty substantial front on it. Now, here's Adair County, and let me show you advanced track. Stop at 1, stop at 3, stop at 7. You're probably saying, Mark, it didn't show anything. Yeah, I agree with that. And I said I don't think we should be under an advisory. So we're looking at noon tomorrow here. Temperatures will peak. And you'll notice here, we start to see these snow showers in the heat of the afternoon. Some of these are snow squalls, meaning high-intensity snow bursts. Remember, these can cause reduction in visibility and can coat the ground briefly. These are all gone by Thursday night as the cold air starts to really filter in. And by Friday morning, advanced track showing single digits north of the river. So the snowfall totals tonight, you can see I've got under an inch for our southern county. I think this one is generally going to be a miss. For tomorrow and tomorrow night, I've got a dusting possible on that system as it comes across the area. With pavement temperatures cold, it still doesn't take much to cause slick spots. 25 with flurries possible for tonight. For tomorrow afternoon, the high comes in at 30. I've got a 50% chance of light snow or snow bursts. Into the extended Friday is cold. Only 21 degrees. Saturday, a record low of 8. And then we start a moderation. Mike, I've got a 60% chance of rain on Monday at a nice high of 47. And Wednesday, showers at 49 degrees. I'm going to guess, Mike, you're going to say I'll take those showers as long as it's warmer?
You got that right. Yeah. That's exactly what I would say. Just get rid of the snow. I'll take the warmer temps, and you can bet that. All right, let's get out. We've had traffic really starting to stack up here on northbound 65 as we're heading in through Hospital Curve and across the Kennedy Bridge. We're still heavy 64 westbound coming out of the tunnels. And then take a look at 64 eastbound as you're coming in through downtown from 9th Street all the way over to Spaghetti Junction. We had that traffic already starting to get heavy. Here we are right underneath of the 2nd Street Bridge. You see on the left-hand side all that traffic coming out of downtown. And then we'll look back around the Belvedere, and then you can see traffic is still bumper to bumper at this location. From the Oxmoor Auto Group Traffic Center, I'm Mike Marshall with Beat the Traffic.
Thank you, Mike. Keeping kids away from nuts to prevent peanut allergies. A new study finds that's actually the wrong thing to do. Doctors found that exposing kids to the foods early prevents peanut allergies. Babies in the study who ate peanut products were 80% less likely to develop the allergy when they got older. While the study is encouraging, doctors aren't telling parents to start feeding kids peanuts just yet. They recommend talking to your pediatrician about it.
Some local allergists really calling that breakthrough medical research there.
It's definitely a problem and something to look into.
Let's talk to Tom Lane now about Kentucky looking for another record breaker.
Cats bidding for 28-0. Mike Lissette and Eric Crawford will have a preview from Starkville, Mississippi. And the U of L women saying goodbye to a quintet of seniors. School is out in parts of Starkville, but the game is on between the Bulldogs of Mississippi State and Kentucky tonight. Mike Lissette and Eric Crawford are on the scene and join us now with a preview.
Kentucky and Mississippi State set to meet up right here in Starkville. Eric Crawford, on paper, it looks like a total mismatch. Is there any way the machine falls?
Well, check the roads. That's the first thing I would advise you. You know, they've been bracing for a winter storm all day here in Mississippi. There's a chance, I guess, that Kentucky wouldn't make it. But other than that, no. If Kentucky's playing the way that they've been playing, I don't think there's any way. Mississippi State is an improved basketball team. Early in the year, they went to Arkansas and got blown out. They played them tougher here in this building, but they haven't improved enough, I don't think, to make this a real exciting or a competitive situation today.
How does John Calipari keep his guys up for a game like this?
Well, I think a lot of that is done in practice. The practices are so competitive. We've heard Kentucky's players talk about fights breaking out, and he'll have to stop the practice and get them going. That's how they stay sharp. They just have so much competition in practice. They aren't as worried about who they're going to face the next game. That's a big part of what Kentucky's doing.
Tip-off is at 7 o'clock. We'll see you one more time before then in the 6 o'clock show. For Eric Crawford, I'm Mike Lissette from Starkville, WDRB Sports.
Thank you, gentlemen. The Louisville women will honor their seniors in the final home game tomorrow night. Shantae Dyer, Bria Smith, Sharon Bales, Sarah Hammond, and Jude Schimmel, all either graduates or on track to graduate in May. All will start Thursday against Boston College.
Our kids understand we have a task at hand, and that's we've got to take care and compete against a very good Boston College team that beat Duke, beat NC State. They've won 2 of their past 3. So is it going to be emotional? Sure. It's going to be exciting. And then at the same time, once the little presentation's finished before the game, it's time to play.
You don't want to lose on senior night.
No, not at all. Thanks, Tom. We'll see you at 6 and 10. All right.
Coming up, a story of love and friendship comes to a local stage. The real-life fugitives it profiles.
The Mega Millions jackpot for Friday is at $127 million, and today's Powerball is $70 million.
Cherry House Gallery's President's Day sale. For a limited time, take 45% off MSRP on all furniture, even special order. 12 months no interest if paid in full. And free local delivery on orders over $2,000. A $99 value.
It's not your mother's Cherry House.
I have sensitive teeth, so I have to brush using a sensitivity toothpaste. Unfortunately, a lot of them taste like chalk. Thankfully, I found Crest Sensi Relief. It actually tastes good and relieves my sensitivity.
Crest Sensi Relief has scope, so it tastes minty, not chalky. Plus, it has the same active ingredient as other leading sensitivity toothpastes. 9 out of 10 people surveyed would likely buy it again.
Once I chucked the chalk, I wasn't going back.
Crest Sensi Relief Whitening plus scope.
For over 60 years, Sam Swope has been the place to buy. Now we're the place to sell, even if you don't buy from us.
Work directly with me, and I'll work hard to get your check the same day. I've bought cars from $300,000 to $100,000. I'll make an offer on your vehicle regardless of condition.
I'll make selling your car fast, safe, and easy.
I'm Burnell. I'm Robert.
And I'm John.
And we are Sell to Sam Swope.
SellToSamSwope.com for more.
Sam Swope.
Your story doesn't add up. Where were you Friday night?
I told you.
Tell me again about this deal.
I switched to Time Warner Cable and got more HD and movies from Epix, ultra-fast internet, and unlimited nationwide calling.
Go on.
With TV equipment included, all for $89.99 a month. And for $9.99 a month, I added stars with a $50 rebate.
He's telling the truth. That's a great deal.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the show.
Oh, I do too.
Call now and get free installation. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy better.
Price is the #1 reason people pick an auto or homeowner's insurance company, and Family Select knows it.
I saved over $1,600.
We saved $900. You know, we're thrilled with that, of course.
Call 502-454-SAVE.
I don't believe you.
No way.
How's that possible?
That's crazy.
I don't believe you.
I find that really hard to believe.
I don't know about that.
No way.
2 pairs of glasses for $69.95 with a free eye exam.
I paid way too much.
It's true. At America's Best, we've been selling quality eyewear at low prices for 35 years. Call 1-800-2-PAIR or visit americasbest.com today.
I'm Bo Butner from Jim Butner Auto.
And I'm JB Butner. This Friday at noon, we will have our first ever Strive to Keep You Driving 24-hour sell-a-thon.
This is no ordinary sale. Every car sold and financed on the lot will be at our cost.
You heard him correctly, at our cost.
Other dealerships would price this car at $89.95. Our price to you, $5,800.
You only have 24 hours to be part of this crazy sell-a-thon. I'm JB Butner.
I'm Bo Butner. And we're striving to keep you driving.
WDRB News, sponsored by Culligan. Better water, pure and simple.
If you're looking for internet service you can count on, I have some news. Switch to AT&T Uverse high-speed internet, and for a limited time, choose any internet speed for $29.95 a month or less. Their best prices ever. What? Is that right? $29.95 a month or less?
Yeah, $29.95 a month it is. Yeah, that's right.
I spend more than that on coffee every month. With AT&T, enjoy the speed you need at a price you'll love. Plus, connect all your Wi-Fi devices at home and save on your mobile data usage. And for $29.95 a month or less, you get it all at an unbelievable price. I'm sorry.
Cut.
It's just, It's literally unbelievable.
Choose any internet speed for $29.95 a month or less for 12 months with qualifying service and a 1-year price guarantee. Our best prices ever.
Still rolling.
Hurry, it's only for a limited time. Call an AT&T expert and switch today.
That's a wrap.
I'm calling to switch right now.